The Becoming. Ìfẹ́ Bámidélé.
Can you share a bit about your background as an orator? How exactly did you first start public?
Uh, okay, public speaking, being an orator. How did I start? I really sincerely cannot tell how. I don't know if there's like a particular time, but I know that I had always been a speaker. I don't want to sound very cliche, like all those people who say since when I was 6 years old or when I was 5 years old, I started talking.
News.
But I think that from when we were younger, uh, I have my parents to credit for this, and it's about they were people who had to speak in public, in church, at events, conferences, seminars. And so it became like something that you did look forward to having yourself on the camera, holding the microphone, and then speaking at home, leading maybe prayers or something. So it had always been there. And then primary school, um, having to speak, being a leader, maybe being captain, having debates. I remember that there was a debate about Venerable Nagbaisi, a national debate competition or essay competition. But there's always been something about talking and writing and talking and writing as part of me. So I really cannot tell exactly when, but I know that from the early days, yes, it's been a part of me.
Okay, so there wasn't anybody, say a public figure that you used to watch growing up that you were just like, oh,
It
I
has to
need
be.
to be like this
I
person.
think it has to be my dad, because very many times it was the guy that I saw all of the time, and I just kept asking myself. People used to come from different parts of the world, and he will be called at different parts of the world as well to speak. And I keep asking myself, as a very little child, what is it that makes people sit down and somebody is speaking? We go for seminars, conferences, trainings, and I saw amazing people, and he had a lot of books, Mike Murdoch, Miles Monroe, and some of the top Christian leaders at this time as well, like that Dr. David Oyedepo. I mean, but it always amazes me when I see thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people sit down somewhere, and then one person picks up the microphone and everybody's eager to hear what they have to say. And sometimes that person is not just doing it once, they're doing it week in, week out, day in, day out. Speaking is a gift that I think is just extraordinary.
That's nice. So considering your background, it
Yeah.
wasn't like it's a skill that you had to acquire. It came to you naturally.
Also, I think it's a natural thing that had to be earned as a skill. So you have a pencil, and then somebody gives you a pencil. The pencil doesn't just get to start writing because you have a pencil. So you
Hmm.
probably have to sharpen the pencil, and then it begins to work for you. So I think that over a period of time, I had to do some sharpening. The sharpening process meant that uh, I had to also learn by myself. I had to test it. I had to go for interviews. I had to go for training programs. And that way, I think that I am becoming the speaker, the orator, the compare that people talk about once in a while.
Nice. So have you encountered any challenge so far as a public speaker, as an orator?
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why this video is important for me. It's about how some people are not sure of themselves. Sometimes you go into a space and you see big people, like quote and unquote, and you're like, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? Or the problem of protocols. Uh, if you call somebody's name before somebody, you become the enemy of that person for the rest of the year. And you're
Yeah.
asking yourself, uh, should I introduce this particular assistant before this deputy, or this particular person who is the wife of this person before there? So there's a lot of intriguing versions of the discourse when it comes to public speaking, comparing events, leadership, communication generally. But I think that on the whole, I've had a relatively smooth public speaking, comparing MCing, oratory career. Hopefully, it gets better.
Hopefully, we hope
Yeah.
to see that.
Mm.
So, you've been an orator for over 2 decades now, right?
Something like that.
Okay,
I've been born for more than 2, 3 decades, going to four or thereabout, and so I've been an orator for the better part of my life.
let's
But
just put
yes,
it that way.
for some time. But officially at events, communication, being paid to speak, then yes, I'll say up to 2 decades or thereabout, and it's been fun. Yes.
Okay, and then since you took up this job at this university,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
Since I've been here in uni, so I remember that when I started working in the uni about a decade ago, there was an interview for orators for the convocation ceremony, and it was the first convocation ceremony. And that year, I read the citation of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. And since that year, I think it's been maybe apart from one year when I was, or 12 times, maybe one to twice when I was not in the country, I've had a privilege of reading citations of different people and comparing world class events around the world.
interesting. So, do you remember how many you've read in particular?
I cannot remember the number of events that I've compared or public engagements that I've spoken at. Neither can I remember the number of people that I read their citations. But I
Citation.
think that now that you have asked me, I will try to do a listing. Some of the people will definitely tower, but I remember some very easily. But
Okay.
I may not be able to remember all. But I will go into the archives and I will try to do a listing. Hopefully, I'll also begin to post some of the videos, either as throwback or as whatever it is, maybe from the archives. But I will look for some of the videos of the people that I read their citations and then maybe put it up on the YouTube channel as well. It might just help to see some versions of me. Yeah, but I think it's been quite a number over a period of time.
Okay. Can you mention some of them for us?
Off the top of my head, right?
Yeah.
I know some will come easy because of their political positions. Somebody like Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, like I mentioned, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who's current president of Nigeria, Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, former Governor Segun Oni, the late Alaafin of Oyo, the Ewe of Ado Ekiti, Chief Michael Zekome, Chief Emeka Anyoku, that one was very recent. I think I posted a short from it. I'll try to post the full one. Former Commonwealth Secretary General. Professor Anthony Adegulugbe, that one strikes me importantly. But and then a few other people as well. Maybe I'll not remember all now, but yeah, there's very many VVIPs and VIPs, governors, senators, former senators, and I've mentioned two presidents, one former president, one serving president, and then I also remember Chief Raymond Zad of Zatec, Nigeria, Mrs. Adunola Samson of Bovas. That one is just this year.
That's a lot.
And then
That's a
the
whole
Emir
lot.
of Lafia, former from Court of Appeal, former Supreme Court judge, and a few other people like that. Justice Ayola, retired of the ICPC. And I know that as if you keep up, I'm going to keep remembering
And
it
many more.
and many more. And it doesn't take away the fact that very many important ones. But I'll do a listing. I'll look for the videos. I'll try all that I can to look for the videos, look for images, look for pictures, and then post some of them. I'm sure that it'll be fun.
Okay. So, of all the names you've mentioned, is
Hmm.
there one in particular, or even more than one, that just struck you as a memorable one?
I think for a long time it's going to be Professor Anthony Adegbulugbe. Professor Pastor Anthony Adegbulugbe. Even though there were presidents among people that I mentioned, and then there are governors among them. There are royal fathers like the Alaafin of Oyo, like the Oni of Ife, like the Emir of Lafia, and many other royal fathers. But I think that Professor Anthony Adegbulugbe's own was different for me. And that's because sometimes you look at something so far and then it's so close. So I remember that before I got into uni, I attended an event at there was a golf course at the Micon golf course. And it was with my dad. He took me to an event, and the guest speaker was Professor Anthony Adegbulugbe. And why it was amazing was because I was going into uni. I was going into Obafemi Awolowo University. And Professor Adegbulugbe was a lecturer at the Obafemi Awolowo University, but he graduated with a 5.0 CGPA. And he was the first person at that time. So it was just amazing. So you know that idea of, oh yeah, this is the guy that everybody wants to be like. This is the guy that I want to be like. And I graduated from electrical electronics engineering, I think. So I looked for up to him, but I finished from Ife, and I never met him in Ife, not once. And then I became an orator, read citations, president, governors, captains of industry, compared events for the Bar Association, for groups, organizations. And then there was this Professor Adegulube again, right here as an honorary doctorate award degree recipient. And I was to read the citation. And then I read the citation, and everybody in the crowd was just clapping, happy, excited. And I was like, okay, so it looks like there's something connecting with this man. And he was just very humble, very calm, simple, pleasant. And he sent a text message after. And he said, when you were reading he collected my number. And when you were reading my citation, I could not even believe that this was about me. And I was like, okay, there was nothing spectacular about the reading or the citation. It was just that the people who were in the hall at that time could resonate with him. His achievements, his humanity, his commitment, dedication it was just pure. And of the very few that I read, I mean, very few, I think that one stood out for me. And then maybe some others whose citations were also prophetic, like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, when you are reading the thing, they speak about the things that they have done, and maybe some of the things that they were going to do, and now they are living those things, and that can be interesting, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so you talked about reading the citation of Chief Emeka Ayoko,
yeah,
and then you read that he has about 32 honorary doctorate degrees.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that the first of such that you read?
I think that was an amazing moment for me. I mean, like looking at Chief Emeka Anyoko, I read citations of important people who have probably also received some other honorary doctorate degrees. Most of the top people that I've mentioned, the royal fathers, the chancellors of universities, governors of states, they have so many, they're recipients of so many awards, so many honorary doctorate degrees. But for the first time, there was somebody who already had 32 in the bag. And then that was his 33rd. And it was still very elegant, very kind, very nice. And then, luckily, one of the fun parts of being an orator is how, no matter how important the person is, as the orator, you say, dear chief or senator or mister, please rise. And the person rises. And, they just obey you. Even if it is for that 1 minute, they get to obey you. And, because when I asked him to rise, initially people were thinking, oh, maybe he was going to sit, he's had a stressful journey, and he was like, no, I'm standing, and he stood, both as a convocation lecturer and then for his honorary doctorate degree. So I think that those are moments of our lives. You come so close to people. Former Commonwealth Secretary General, come close to so many people around the world because of the privilege of the gift of being able to speak at events, being able to lead events, compare, MC, anchor, and that's really a fun place to be.
Interesting. So apart from being an orator, you also get to speak at public events
Yeah,
and you compare some events as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
What's that like for you?
Ugh. I think that the most important part of speaking engagements, public speaking, is inspiration for me. It's about how inspirational some events of our lives are. How one person hears you say one thing and it changes their life. And people make new decisions. You go and talk to someone and they say, I don't think that you should faff away your life. I don't think that you should waste away your time. And the person takes it as genuine. They take it as germane. Some of us can, like, as you're listening to me now, you can remember somebody who said something 6 months ago, 1 year ago, sometimes 5 years ago, and it still sticks with you. And that's the power of speech. The fact that we can say things and it sticks in the mind of people, and not only in their mind, it changes the how they begin to behave. You talk about financial independence, you talk about owning your decisions, and somebody says, from the time that you spoke about to me about this, my life changed, or my life improved, or I made new decisions, I stopped using drugs because you told me about the story of one of your friends who lost their life, or one of your family members who had lost their job, and their life changes. And so I think that all who have an opportunity to speak should know that both those who are listening where you are physically present and some who will listen from them, their lives can be transformed, inspired, changed from the things that you say.
Okay, so talking about transformation and inspiration. So through this journey, have you met anybody that's contributed to your personal growth or development?
A lot. I mean, so many people. I cannot count, like thousands of people who I have been able to learn from. And I think that one of the things for me is being able to remain a student. Every time I go for an event, either as a speaker, as a compere, as an orator, I just try to ask myself, what is the lesson to learn from this person? I mentioned the fact that my initial lesson started from my dad and my mom as speakers. Until date, every opportunity that I get, I mean, you go close to all these people that I'm talking about and you learn something from them. They say something to you. Some of them say thank you. Some of them say, oh, good job. Some of them give you a pat on the back. Uh, my employer, Rafa Babalola, I mean, he's still a public speaker till date in his 90s. The governors I've spoken about, the presidents, their ability to be able to convince people, their ability to be able to command interest. Some of them are leaders of their own right. So I think that on a daily basis, there's a large circle. When I was in uni, I worked with Fela Drote, and one of the jobs we used to do was speaking, speaking to be able to change the nation, speaking to be able to change people. So I think that till date, even as a student politician, speaking for me is much more than just speaking. It's about how you can speak for change, power speaking.
Okay, so has there been any event you had to speak as that did not seem like your scene or just pushed you out of your comfort zone? Mhm.
Comfort zone, comfort zone. When I started speaking, I tried to be as inspirational, as kind, but the one I think has really stretched me is church, because I understand how there's some level of piety that is required when you speak in religious settings. People not only hear what you say, they are juxtaposing you and what you say. And so that puts you in a very different place. You have to be able to leave the talk. I mean, for people who do other forms of trainings, as a legal practitioner, you can walk into the court, think about everything you're going to say, marshal your case. You don't have to believe in it. I can go and teach something and then finish teaching it. You can be the best finance uh, speaker in the world and be in debt. You know, you can be talking about good health on TV and on radio, and you're battling with your health. That's speech. But sometimes with faith, with the work of God, with church speaking, there's a level that you're expected. So I tried as much as possible to distance myself from that circle for a long period of time because I didn't want to be judged. I don't know if that's the right word to use. I just wanted to be able to live my life. I mean, people are going to say, "So why are you wearing this? So why does your hair look like this? Why is the color of your shirt like this? Why is your trouser this long? Why is this short?" I mean, so those were challenges for me at the time. But I think over a period of time, I'm growing into it and getting a little bit more comfortable. And yeah, hopefully over a period of time, I'm able to get right.
That's nice. So, when you started reading people's citations,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that you came across some, say, hometown
yeah,
words or
yeah,
some names that were
yeah,
difficult to
yeah.
pronounce. Was there anybody, or did you meet somebody that just took an offense to the way you pronounced their name or something like
Uh,
that?
I don't think I've had any particular one, but once in a while after some events, I try to confirm if things were right. So before the event, you try to confirm with the person whose citation that you're trying to read. What's the correct spelling of your name? What's the correct pronunciation of your town? Because I think that, for example, the Emir of Lafia, Bari Bari, and so you ask the head of the team that comes with protocol to say, "Did I get that right?" And then they say, "Oh yeah, that's good." And in some cases, that's nice. I remember that it was my first citation, and somehow my dad was in the crowd. And after that event, he told me, "Oh, that was nice, but you can do better." And I'm like, God, even Chief Olusegun Obasanjo just said that. That was neither. And this man still saying he can do better. But 10 years after, I've discovered that, yes, I definitely can do better. Over the years, I have actually done better. I've improved. And there's still more room for improvement. There's every day, there's room for learning. Like I said, you compare events, somebody comes to say, oh, that was really amazing. However, we could have done it this way or that way. But as long as the bag is secured, somebody is paying, the checks are being signed, and then you are getting the next job. Somebody's taking your card, somebody's taking your phone number, somebody's asking to say, let's do this together again. I have this corporate event, this United Nations event. It's just a small group. I just want you to anchor and lead a team for the conversation. So yeah, it works.
You already mentioned that you put together a list of citations that you've read over
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Are we going to be seeing videos to that effect?
Yes, I try. I mean, I'll try as urgently as possible to put up as many as I can, so that for ease, I'll look for the one of, if I can find President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, since he's the current president. Maybe President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will sit and say, "I'm the one that read your citation. Please don't forget your." I mean, so maybe that way I can start buying fuel at a cheaper price, or maybe I can get some money back. He didn't give me any money for it, so maybe this is the time to now say, Mr. President, remember your boy. I'm the guy that. So
Yeah.
that year that, and then maybe a few others. But some of the recent ones are more accessible. But I'll try as much as possible to look for the other ones. The head of CEO of Bovas, who was given an honorary doctorate recently. She was just very calm, simple, and I saw growth. Apart from the number of uh, honorary doctorate degrees that Chief Ayoku had, one of the things I saw from her, for example, was how from one filling station, our company moved to over 100 in a short space of time.
Wow.
And reading those citations is like reading people's biographies. I'm somebody who also likes to read biographies, and so reading people's stories, some of their personal lives, people who remove some parts of their life, some of them who accentuate some parts of their life, and it's just how a person has lived 70 years, 80 years, and you just abridge it into one page or two pages. And that is a lesson for all of us. In spite of all of the things that you have done, some of the things that will become unique when you were born, where you were born, the schools that you attended, some of the achievements that you have had, some of the lives that you have touched, the influence that you have had on people. So your entire life is likely going to be crashed in two pages, one page. And because it's a long day, sometimes some people will come and tap the MC or the orator and say, can you abridge it? Can you shorten this thing? Make it shorter.
So if I have a gig for you, a public speaking gig,
Yeah.
how can I reach you?
So in the coming year, maybe there's also a becoming. So there's a looking forward to an opportunity to do more of what I've already been doing. So I'm opening my diary more. I'm taking more events, allowing for an opportunity to express, to inspire, to motivate, to teach, and then to also train. So my email address, yes, I put an email up, and then yes, my website is coming up, and so there will be a yeah, so there will be a booking for speakers form where you can like say, okay, I would like you to come and speak about this. I've been taking a lot of speaking engagements, and so it's time to like do something official around it. Maybe a phone number that will be accessible. But if you get in early, I'm going to open up my diary. Some parts of 2024 are already getting filled, speaking at a few places, and then doing some trainings as well. Because I think that for me, it's not just about speaking, it's also about training. So I've seen people move from stuttering to being amazing speakers. If I There's a video that I did with my brother and friend Olabode Olanusi, where he was talking about young people, lessons that young people need to learn, and he always teaches about how he started from stuttering and now speaks globally at training, seminars, management consultation. And so I think that one of the important things I also want to do more in 2024 is to teach people how to speak. Teaching people how to speak. Very important for me. It's not just about speaking, it's about letting people know that I am doing it now. I am privileged to be able to speak. What about you? You have something inside of you that the world wants to hear. Maybe you could do it with a little bit of some polishing, with a little bit of some reading, with a little bit of some reskilling. Somebody somewhere in the world wants to hear you. And it's an era of social media, so you don't have to wait until you get your first invite. Your device, your TikTok, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, speak, and you'll be shocked. Somebody is hearing you and they'll be willing to have you on board.
So part of the things that you're going to do in coming time is to train people how to
Yes,
be confident
yeah, yes,
and how
yes,
to be better
yes.
public
I think
speakers.
that we all need that. We all need it. As many people as possible who have assertiveness, who can be public speakers, who can, it helps confidence, it helps business, it helps management. The confidence in what you do, either as a practitioner, either as a student, that confidence, that ability to communicate is a skill that everybody must learn. I'm privileged to have it and I'm willing to pass it on. But yeah, let's take on the gigs, send in the invites, and then let's tour the world telling people how things and life can get better.
Okay, so any special advice? Anything?
One takeaway.
Yes.
One takeaway for persons who want to be orators, MCs, compares, public speakers, engage people, is keep learning. Keep learning. The things that you know, it is easier for you to communicate it. When you are certain about a particular topic, you are sure, you have the facts, you are confident. And if you are not now, start small. I've already given two. Don't worry, I'll look for another video to do on that one. How to become an orator or public speaker, or tips on how. Maybe those are the things that we should package into the training and then make it a bit better. But it's been fun. Thank you very much, Sophia. And then Imole for making the things happen. Yeah, the guys behind the cameras. Thank you so much. I think for me, it's just about relearning. It's about growth. It's about showing forth the things that we have and then letting the world know that here I am. Send me. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching.